Okay. Okay, this is not what it's supposed to be. Let's go a little bit further. Hi, welcome back. How are you? So I've been meaning to do this, and the first episode or the first book review, that was All the Light We Cannot See by Anthony Dower. And that was a bit nerve-wracking because the book itself, it was quite complex to a certain extent. It's a great book, phenomenal book. So I've been having this on the back of my head, what books do I do? And I wanted to go to a book that reminds me of simpler times. And this book in particular, I picked this book back in 2013. So that is like 12 years back. I was in high school. We just had this book lying around in the house. And I just figured, why not? Why not read it? And this is it. It's The Monk Who Sold His Ferrari by Sharma. So, as it says, this is a fable about fulfilling your dreams and reaching your destiny. And where do we start? It starts with a premise that tells you, like, what if the greatest thing that you'll ever achieve in your life is losing everything that you ever had? And it basically follows the story of Julian Mantle, a highly successful corporate lawyer, big shot kind of guy who has this Ferrari. And eventually one day while in the court, he goes through a cardiac arrest, and that is how the story starts. It's quite captivating. And then he goes on this spiritual journey. And what I really like about this book is it is very simple. The English are simple enough, and it doesn't matter like in which stage of your reading journey a person might be. I think anyone can pick this book, and like just reading the first few lines, you'll be able to make it out. Like, it is very friendly, highly friendly. And the thing is, it has this conversation style which I'm a huge fan of, and some people are not a huge fan of those. Some people likes to follow a highly dramatized narrative, but I'm not necessarily like that. There are time and place for those stuff, but my taste, I have a huge affinity for books or movies where it is pretty much two persons just having a normal conversation. And the whole story of the Monk Who Sold His Ferrari spans over a night, like the main theme. It's just Julian Mantle coming back and just having this heart-to-heart conversation with the protagonist. The song is written in a first-person perspective, so there are many ancient principles such as Kaizen, Japanese concept of like maintaining consistency, those kind of stuff. And I think the end, and I will never forget how the mark it had on me the first time I read it. So if you pay attention, like, this is the book, and yeah, well, I'll just keep the mic for a second. So I have a lot of it. I like it, and that is how I pretty much like to read books. And so coming back to the end of it, the ending, right? Like I said, the ending, that is, there are two stories that just catches you off guard. I mean, one is more like an anecdotal, archetypal story kind of thing. A story about a boy named Peter. And the other is about Julian Mantle. At the end, as the story unfolds, you learn something about Julian Mantle. And the first time I read that, the feeling I get, like just reading that sentence, it just left me crestfallen, if that is the word. And it has stayed with me. And I don't know how many times I've read this book. I think this is one of those books that I like to go revisit now and then. Just by the end of it, it makes me feel good. And it is one of my feel-good books. And I guess, yeah, if you're in the mood to pick a book, I'm not really like I'm not really much of an inspiration, all this motivational kind of guy. But like, if you just feel a bit under the weather, and if you feel you need, like, something like a little dose of inspiration, I would recommend that this book. It will not drastically change your life, but for a moment, as you flip the last page, what I can tell you is, even for a moment, like even if it's just for a minute, that feeling of serenity, that feeling of calmness that you get, it is highly worth it. It is priceless. That is what good books does. It is not a magic. It is not thing, but we travel those journey just for that moment of euphoria that you have at the end of the day, as you flip the last page. And I definitely think this is one of those books that can give you that feeling, that can give you that high. So yes, that is pretty much my opinion and my review of The Monk Who Sold Ferrari. So feel free to comment. What is your thoughts? How do you feel? Do you like it? What do you think? Let's get in touch. Thank you.